Robo Papa.
So part of the 3D printer, it comes with the acrylic door as well as the cover. And on the manual, which I got prior to receiving the 3D printer, they have a link that tells you, gives you some instructions on how to do it. However, that link is in Chinese, and not that it's hard to understand, it's fairly straightforward, but I thought I'll show you guys anyway how to do it. So we will start with the door. You will have basically a magnet over here and a magnet over here. That's the bottom. The 3D printer has magnets over there, that way the door can stay closed, which means this is where the handle will go. And it can fit only one way, so there's nothing to worry about that. We will need to attach the hinges, which will come over here, and then the handle will come over here. And when we're done with that, we'll actually move to these parts, which are the case on the top of the 3D printer. There's some extra part of the parts that we get. There's some extra, like a fuse, the Allen wrenches, some of the screws, even the nut for the bedding. So it's nice that they're giving you some extra pieces. So I separated the parts that we have for the handle or the door over here, which we'll need to use the black screws. They have two kinds. They have the little one, which was for the handle, and we have the longer ones, which will go for the hinges. Then we have, and those will go with a bigger nut. Then we have the silver ones, which will go for the cover on the top, and then we'll go with the little nut. But we'll go through those after we finish with this. So what I recommend is start by actually peeling off. Definitely sticky over here. So that is one side. We'll need to do the same side over here. The reason we want to peel it off before, because the hinges and the handle will come here, and then we'll not be able to peel it very nicely. So we'll start with the handle. Like I said, there's little metals over here that will be helpful for the door to be closed better with a magnetic. So take the Allen wrench. Just tight it. Okay. Now, could be with hopefully with yours it's already will come with the screw already attached, but in the video that they had, it's not coming attached and they needed to attach it, but we don't need to worry about it. So what we'll do now, we'll take the screw and we'll put it through, and we'll take the knobs and we'll attach it in the back. So I'll do that now. So then we can take the Allen wrench, so what I recommend is start by actually peeling off . So that is one side. We'll need to do the same side over here. The reason we want to peel it off before, because the hinges and the handle will come here, and then we'll not be able to peel it very nicely. Okay. So we'll start with the handle. Like I said, there's little metals over here that will be helpful for the door to be closed better with a magnetic. So take the Allen wrench. Just tight it. Okay. Now, could be with hopefully with yours it's already will come with the screw already attached, but in the video that they had, it's not coming attached and they needed to attach it, but we don't need to worry about it. So what we'll do now, we'll take the screw and we'll put it through, and we'll take the knobs and we'll attach it in the back. So I'll do that now. So then we can take the Allen wrench, so just to have it like nicely snug, you need to hold it with a clamp. Then use the Allen wrench to tie it, not too hard, that way you're not breaking the plastic or the acrylic. Doesn't have to be like super strong, but you don't want it to be also very loose. So we'll do the same thing with the next one. That will be for the door, and these parts will go on the printer, which already has the knobs, and I'll show that to you in a couple of minutes. So next we can move to building the cover on the top. And this one is a little bit tricky because you need to put the nuts in here and then come like that, like so, and come with the screws from the top, and it will hold it with pressure. But all along the time, this time that you're screwing this, you need to hold the knot, so it's going to be very tricky, but we can do it. Alright, well, I'll go and build this and then come back. Okay, so I took apart all the remove all the covering on the acrylic, and now we can start building it. And we'll do that one by one. I think that's will be the easiest way to do it. So as you can see, what I was talking about, this has to come here in the right angle. And then the screw needs to come and fit. So, first one is in, and you can see how it's supposed to be. The knot is actually putting pressure, and therefore it's holding it in place. So we'll do the second one now. Then we'll put the face over here, that way we can actually fit it all. What I'm recommending is to start from the outside, because it's easier when your hands to work, and then work in towards the inside. So we'll go and we'll put the door now into the 3D printer. I'll take you there now. So now that we have the extruder's head in place, we need to put the screws, and you'll have a separate bag with 2 screws in them, and we'll need to put it right where the holes are. And I know it's a little bit hard for you guys to see, but I'll try to do something for it. So facing up from the printer, so it's on the bottom, and you can see there's the hole over here, That way we can put the screw in place. So I didn't tighten it all the way. We'll do now, I'll move the head, and we'll do the same thing for the other screw. And now we'll tighten up. So we'll touch down the spool holders. It's fairly simple. There are two sides. One will hold the spool, one is coming from the inside to hold it. Took one of the knobs, put in like this, and then from just sticking your hand inside, then you will tie it. Don't have to be too strong, it's just strong enough to hold the spools. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. This is how you tie it from inside. So I connected the spools over here, the two spools that we got, and right now we'll connect also the tubes to feed in. I'm still holding off on the door, which is over here. That way, when we actually align the bed, don't need to hold the door, or it's just easier. There are two basically holders over here that the tube will actually go through, and then the spool itself from here will feed through it, so it will help guide it. And I'll show how it's connected actually to the nozzles. So for now, I'll just connect the tubes themselves like so. And then there are clips that you can actually click on that, and they will lock. So basically, if I'll show you, so you can see from here, that's where the spool will go, and it will feed through that tube. And here are the extruders, and this will just slide in after we'll know that it's feeded. So first I'll just open it and feed the lines through it. And there are two ways for the spool to go. The spools might go like this or like this. Like basically you want the feed to go in from here. That way it's like nicely aligned versus going from up down. You want to come in from down up. So I'm just now feeding the spool through the plastic, the tube, till I will see it and it's coming out from the other side. I'll do the same thing for this one. So we basically now will need to actually connect the printer. That way we can start feeding the extruder, which we'll need to let it warm up first, and then we'll start aligning according to the manual. So we'll do that next. So I already put the printer on the platform for now, and I connected also the USB. You can see the back over here. Here's the red spool connected to the USB over here, which if you're facing the front of your printer, it will be on the right side. Next to the USB connection, there's also a reset button. And then on the other side, which is the left one, is the power. I'm assuming that we all know how to connect power and a USB cable. So what we need to do now is really just feeding the spool, the spool thread towards the printer, inside the printer, or the extruder heads. And in order for us to do that, first we need to preheat the headers. So I'll turn on the printer, which has a switch in the back right next to the power cord. really nice LCD screen over here that tells you basically the menu. I don't know if you can see it. The Pro comes already with Selfish, I think, firmware installed. You can see that the spools are getting ready. So in order for us to preheat, so there's 3 functions over here. I don't know if you can see it, but the first one is print from SD card, which, by the way, the SD socket is right over here. Second one is preheat, and then you have utilities, and I think there's also information. The way you can move around is with these buttons, and then there's the OK in here. We'll go down to preheat, press OK, and what you should have actually is, by default, right extruder is on, and then left extruder is off, and then the bed is on. But really, because we're feeding it, we want the right extruder on, left extruder on, and then the platform to be off. Then we can go up and click start, and now it's started preheating it. You can see that it's 27 degrees out of 230, and it's preheating. So the nice thing, it's actually, because it's selfish, it should, even if we put the platform, it will preheat that platform as well. And the LED, I don't know if you can see it, but it will change as the platform gets hot or cold. So before it was white, now it's a little bit reddish. In the meantime, I'll lower the bed. We'll feed the spool through these holes. One over here, one over here. We'll feed those spools. And then we'll basically tie the tube in that hole. So it's ready. And what we will do now, we'll go into utilities. And we'll go to Filament Loading. The second option. Then you have unload right or load right, unload left, and load left. So we will start with the let's start with the right one. So I'm taking the spool, filling it through the hole. Then you will feel it start like actually pulling on it. Which I'm already filling it, and then we'll wait until the filament will actually come out, and you can see that it's coming out, and then we'll put the plastic, snug it, that way it's not interrupting. Now we can press OK. And we'll do the left one now. It's a good idea to actually cut the filament a little bit before you're actually finning it. I will basically say load left. And that's it. That's how you're feeding the filament into the extruder. And some of the options over here are unload also, which that's when if you want to replace it for two different filaments. So the next step will be, after the filament is fed through the extruders, you want to actually align the bed, and this is very important because that will be basically a major factor of if your prints will be a good prints or not. And the reason is that the first layer that the printer actually is going to print is very important because that will be the base of everything. So I basically turn off the extruders here so they're not warming up, They still around 41, 40 degrees, but I think that will be fine. And the reason that you don't want your extruder to be hot is because we need to test it with a piece of paper. So you don't want it to burn. And to align it, what we'll do is we'll go to utilities, and we'll go to level build plate, and then it will move the extruders to its home position. At this point it will say press M when level, but what you want to do is actually put a piece of paper and make sure that it's got some traction between the bedding and the nozzles. You don't want it to be too loose but not too stiff. So I have a piece of paper right now, which I will enter, and you can see that I can actually go through the nozzles. So what I will need to do, underneath there's 3 screws, one over here in the center and then 2 in the back, and I will need to lower them a little bit at a time. And then test again, make sure that the paper can actually go through. So you can see right now it's actually go freely. So I want to get closer to the nozzle, so I will turn it clockwise. And I'm doing like a little bit at a time. You can see I can remove it, but I can feel the traction in it. But I think this was too much because now I cannot actually enter it back. So let's pull it up a little bit. Okay. When you're done with the leveling, you can click the OK button, and we basically now will move to actually print something to test.